SCP-1504 is an otherwise normal man who seems to be invulnerable to all forms of harm and is held in a standard human containment cell. He knows his name is Joe, but does not seem to be able to recall his last name, which has led to him being given the nickname Joe Schmo. He was brought to a nearby SCP containment site without incident to be interviewed and studied. At first glance, it seems like it is one of the least interesting entities in SCP containment, but this seemingly uninteresting man turned out to be a far more complicated case than anyone at the Foundation expected. Dr. Lloyd was not anticipating a difficult interview when he stepped into the containment cell to speak with SCP-1504. The mystery man was cooperative, answering questions, although there were some abnormalities. Not only did this man not know his own last name, but he didn't know when he was born. As the interview went on, Dr. Lloyd suffered a spontaneous nosebleed and had to briefly leave the room. Dr. Lloyd returned, and the interview went smoothly, until he asked 1504 about the origin of his invulnerability. The subject began crying and refused to talk about it, and was released to his room. That's where the trouble began. Dr. Lloyd normally ran a rather calm site with high-tech security systems that were effective at containing the entities inside. As long as the technology worked, the staff was in no danger, and it was designed to be foolproof, or so they thought. The technical hiccups began slowly. Doors would open when they weren't supposed to, but the resulting breaches were quickly contained. These new issues were worrying, but as long as they stayed manageable, the staff could keep everything under control. But of course, things didn't stay manageable. The site had one dangerous Keter entity on hand that breached containment. When it broke out, the staff who specialized in recontaining anomalies were alerted, but only about half responded. The other missing half were all dead. The remaining staff barely survived and managed to contain the Keter, but their troubles were only beginning. Requests for more staff went ignored, supply drops didn't arrive, and the staff was quickly beginning to run out of the basics. The deaths on site weren't acknowledged by the Foundation, or even many of the people on site. It was as if they had never happened. Things were going from bad to worse, and the true horrors lay ahead. One day, all the doors at the site suddenly opened at once, and the staff was quickly overwhelmed by the freed and enraged entities. Most died, and the surviving ones scattered, seemingly unconcerned with finding any other survivors. The only one who seemed aware of what was happening was Daryl Lloyd, and he knew there was no way to contain this breach. His time was running out, and there was only one thing left to do. He wrote everything that had happened down in a document and sealed it in an indestructible vault. The document opened with a chilling sentence: "We didn't know his true anomaly. We didn't know what he could really do." Then Dr. Lloyd activated the failsafe that every SCP site has, an on-site nuke that can be triggered in the event of a breach that would endanger the outside world. The badly injured Dr. Lloyd perished in the blast, along with every surviving staff member and many of the escaped entities at the site. When Foundation staff dug through the rubble, they found the document, although it was badly damaged and parts were unreadable due to bloodstains having been smeared across it. Most of the anomalies kept at the site were accounted for, but one entity was neither confirmed killed or recaptured. So where was Joe Schmo? Not only was SCP-1504 not found on site, there was very little record of him found on any electronic systems or archives. The only evidence found of this mysterious man was the handwritten document left behind by the late Dr. Lloyd, as well as the initial interview that seemed to show absolutely nothing of note. But Dr. Lloyd's last words worried the staff, and a missing entity is never to be taken lightly. It was decided to run the interview footage through multiple filters to rule out any perception-based interference. What they discovered turned out to be one of the biggest threats in the SCP Foundation's history. The interview started similarly, with Dr. Lloyd asking SCP-1504 what his name was, but things soon took a turn from the original log. SCP-1504 was belligerent from the start. He snapped, "I'm not gonna tell you, you'll just ignore me." His response was similar when asked when he was born. He even claimed that Dr. Lloyd wouldn't notice if he punched him in the nose. Dr. Lloyd seemed undisturbed, acting as if he had just been told a year instead of being threatened. Then SCP-1504 decided to test his theory. The mysterious Joe Schmo leapt up from his seat and punched Dr. Lloyd. The doctor's nose began bleeding badly, but he seemed to hardly notice, only commenting that he had a nosebleed and leaving to take care of it. This made SCP-1504 even more agitated, cursing at Dr. Lloyd and desperately seeking to get his attention. As Dr. Lloyd asked why he couldn't seem to be hurt, SCP-1504 lost his head. He began an extended rant where he stated that he could do anything to anyone, even kill the people they love and they wouldn't notice. He claimed to be able to shoot himself with a guard's gun and nothing would happen. SCP-1504 was in tears, but no one seemed to notice. Dr. Lloyd just kept writing notes as SCP-1504 ranted that he always felt like he was stuck in a room crowded with people, and every single one of them ignored him. He expressed that he wished to die, but was apparently unable due to the nature of his anomaly. Dr. Lloyd didn't seem to hear any of this, and instead thanked SCP-1504 for cooperating with the interview and returned him to his cell. His perception of the interview was exactly what the initial interview had been, completely uneventful. It was clear that SCP-1504 was much more powerful than anyone knew, and now he was missing. The Foundation met and quickly updated SCP-1504's classification from safe to Keter. The classification and description were pieced together slowly due to the subject's cognitohazard abilities, which means that any information known about him may be subjective at any time. A place for him was prepared at Area 114, the Foundation's primary location for containing perception and sensory-based threats. But SCP-1504 is not currently contained, and his unique abilities mean he may never be. After all, how do you contain something when no one knows who or where it is? But the Foundation is prepared. There's a cell waiting for SCP-1504 at the site. A simple-looking 3 by 3 by 3 chamber, but the security on hand is anything but simple. It will be kept closely guarded, with a minimum of 4 Level 3 staff members required for access. 2 staff members will stay inside the control room ready to trigger security measures and even the failsafe if a containment breach happens. The staff is ready to flood the cell with halothane gas if needed, one of the only things that can incapacitate SCP-1504, along with a sharp blow to the head. He cannot be allowed to escape and must be confined and restrained at all times. Any attempt to open the locks must be released by multiple staff members at the same time, and only one can enter the chamber to interact with SCP-1504. So what do we know about what makes SCP-1504 so dangerous? Well, that depends on who you ask, because most people would say there's absolutely nothing dangerous or unique about him. He's just an average Joe, and that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. SCP-1504 is a living cognitohazard that affects the perceptions of everyone around him. No matter what he does, it will be perceived as normal, calm, and forgettable. And the odds are, anyone around him will forget his existence only seconds after they meet him. But that's not his most dangerous ability. In addition to his cognitohazard and his seemingly complete inability to be harmed beyond brief incapacitation, SCP-1504 has the ability to interfere with electronic systems, which caused the catastrophic breach at his original site. Any automated systems around him will start to glitch, and as such his private cell at Area 114 is locked only with simple locks featuring combinations and keys. Testing on the range of his powers is ongoing, and the site will take care to make sure a total containment failure is never allowed to happen again. While the Foundation intends to minimize direct contact with him once captured, any personnel at Area 114 will already be trained in how to resist perception shifts. For any of this to work though, the Foundation has to capture him first, and therein lies the problem. The Foundation was able to capture SCP-1504 the first time simply by reports of his inability to be harmed. That seemed to be the one thing about him anyone can notice. Otherwise, no action he takes, even physically attacking someone, will be memorable in any way, allowing him to slip away undetected. While physically he is little threat to anyone, there is reason to consider him a critical danger to public safety. His ability to disrupt electronic systems means he could be a security risk to any public facility, including banks, prisons, or even nuclear power plants. And there is a reason to believe he may be growing more unstable. No one knows how old SCP-1504 is or if he has a normal lifespan, His inability to be harmed indicates he could be anomalous in other ways, and even if he ages normally, it is clear the isolation of his abilities are making him increasingly angry. He seems to be getting more and more desperate to be noticed by any means necessary. Hence his assault on the unfortunate Dr. Lloyd, and now he's out there in the world, undetected by anyone. Who knows how he'll try to make himself famous or infamous next. The Foundation has made the capture of SCP-1504 one of their highest priorities, and once they get him, they intend to make sure he's never free again. Now they just have to find him. And that's where many Foundation experts are stumped. How do you find something that is designed to go unnoticed? Until they have their answer, their trackers are on the search for reports of a normal-looking Caucasian man, just under 6 feet tall, with a small birthmark on his right shoulder. That should narrow it down. For more on another unassuming man with unexpected abilities, check out SCP-343 God, or watch SCP-507 Reluctant Dimension Hopper for another SCP whose control of his abilities is lacking.